What's going on, everybody? Jonathan Rahina here. Welcome back to the Passion Blade YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A on the top 10 most commonly asked questions that I see on a weekly basis on both the SV650 and SV1000 community pages, as well as sometimes commonly asked on my YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's get today's video started. Alrighty, so first question. Can you do wheelies on an SV650 or SV1000, and do they make good stunt bikes? And the short answer to that is no. Unfortunately, due to the way the engines were designed on these bikes, the oil pump, after a certain degree and angle, is no longer able to pick up oil, which will lead to oil starvation in the engine, which leads to catastrophic engine failure in the long run. Now, you may be able to get away with a couple wheelies here and there, but I promise you, you're doing a little bit of damage to your engine every single time you do that, and I highly advise against doing wheelies on your SV650 or SV1000. I have another video that I made in the past that actually shows you a complete SV650 engine broken down and shows you the internals and the catastrophic damage that the engine suffered from the previous owner doing wheelies on it. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll make sure I link it in the description below. Alright, question number 2. Can you swap an SV1000 engine into an SV650? Now, every time I see this question asked, I see the same answer in the comment section. Oh, with enough time, money, and fabrication skills, anything is possible. Don't listen to that guy. Just don't, okay? The SV1000 frame is a little bit wider than the SV650. You would literally have to cut your SV650 frame and widen it just to make an SV1000 engine fit. I promise you, by the time you spend that money, you probably could have just gone and bought an SV1000 right out. So my recommendation is, if you want an SV1000, just go ahead and put your SV650 up for sale. And then with that money, if you have a clean SV650, I promise you, the SV650 and SV1000 price market is not too far off from each other. You may be able to get lucky enough to just buy an SV1000 for the price that you sold your SV650 for. So that's my recommendation. You want an SV1000, sell your 650, buy a 1000. Question number 3. Are fairings and gas tanks interchangeable between the 650 and the 1000? And the answer to that is yes, with the exception of the lower fairings. But everything else, like the upper fairing, front fender, rear tail assembly, seat cowl, and gas tank, they're all interchangeable. But the 1000 and 650s do have different frame sizes, so unfortunately the 1000 fairings will not fit on a 650 and vice versa. Question number 4. What is the best phone mount for my SV? Now, I recently made a video saying that Apple no longer wants you to mount your iPhones to your motorcycle because the vibrations from your motorcycle will actually cause camera damage to your iPhone. But since making that video, a lot of people have actually commented that they've actually had either Samsungs or LGs that have run into the same issue where they've had a faulty camera after taking it out on a couple rides. Now, another comment that I've received probably like 100 times between Facebook and YouTube is that they switched over to the RAM quad lock mount with the anti-vibration damper and have not had any issues with their phones since going with that phone mount. So if you decide to get a phone mount for your SV650 or SV1000, I recommend going with the RAM quad lock mount with the anti-vibration damper. Myself personally, I like to ride with my phone in my pocket or in my backpack. I just don't like to be distracted by a phone while I'm riding. Alrighty, question number 5. Where can I buy parts for my SV? Now, I have 4 recommendations for this question. First recommendation, if you're looking to buy new OEM parts, check out Oneida Suzuki. They have a great website where you can see these parts diagrams and order exactly what you need, whether it's a bolt, full fairings, gas tank, etc. They have it for you. But fair warning, you will be paying the premium for those parts because they are new and they are a Suzuki dealer. Now, if you're looking for used OEM Suzuki parts, check out my website, www.motopartsource.com. I have tons of used OEM parts and some aftermarket parts available. And if you guys can't find what you're looking for on my website, check out my buddy Sergey's website, mattavcycles.com. Usually, whenever someone can't find what they're looking for on my website, they could definitely find it there, and vice versa. And last up, if you're looking for performance parts for your SVs, check out my buddy Blair Layton's website. He has his website called svracingparts.com, and he has a ton of parts that he has R&D'd in-house himself here in the USA, and his customer service is absolutely impeccable. So check him out if you haven't already. Question number 6. Can I convert my S model to an N model and vice versa? Yes, you can. There will be some parts that need to be replaced, such as your entire triple tree assembly, your handlebars obviously, your front fairing assembly. If you are going from an N to an S, you will need to acquire the headlight stay to actually support this entire assembly. The wiring for your controls will need to be rerouted because they will be a different length. But other than that though, it is a very feasible swap. It's commonly done. If this is a swap that you want but don't want to do the work, another thing that you can do is just post your S up for trade for an N or your N up for trade for an S. There's tons of times where it's a few times where I've seen people that they just didn't want to do the work and they just wanted an N model right out, and they were able to just straight up trade their bikes, and it all worked out for everyone at the end of the day. Question number 7. What is the best way to mount lower fairings without OEM mounting brackets? And this is a great question because the OEM factory brackets do not offer any protection for your lower fairings. What I always recommend is for people to upgrade to no-cut frame sliders. You can get those from companies like R&G or SV Racing Parts, and what those offer for you is 1, a great layer of protection for those expensive lower fairings, and 2, a great foundation if you don't have any bracketry down there to help you mount them. So get those first. They will help you get your lower fairings mounted in place, and from there you can go ahead and fabricate your own brackets that you can pick up from any local hardware store and make those fairings fit exactly how they should. Question number 8. Is the SUZUKI and the SV1000 a reliable motorcycle? Yes, they are. In my opinion, they are some of the most reliable motorcycles on the market, with proven engines reaching well over 100,000 miles, obviously with maintenance, of course, like spark plug changes, oil changes, and valve adjustments within the recommended intervals. But other than that, as long as you keep up with your maintenance on your SV, it is a very, very reliable bike. Now, I must warn you, there's one thing that does make the SV1000 a little bit more unreliable than the 650, and that is magneto failure. Over time, the magnets come loose within the magnetos on the 1000 models, and those bits of magnets that come loose go into the engine and cause catastrophic engine failure. So what I recommend, if you haven't already, go ahead and pull your magneto assembly out, send it off to someone that can do the magneto service for you, or do it yourself. There's plenty of tutorials online for that. Basically, you go ahead, you re-JB weld your magnets in place, and once those things are set in place, you're good to go, and you'll never have to worry about that bike. So SV650, SV1000, both reliable bikes. Just make sure you do a magneto service on your 1000, and don't do wheelies on either or. Question number 9. What are the first modifications I should do to my SV? Now, this is going to be completely biased and everyone's going to have their own opinion, but I recommend stainless braided brake lines and better pads. I like the EVC double sintered pads, but those two together will make for a very good braking system. And then also suspension. If you do not know how to dial in your own suspension, take your bike over to a suspension shop, get your forks rebuilt, and then have them sprung to your weight, and then have the rear shock adjusted to your weight as well, and you'll be good to go. Alrighty guys, time for the 10th and final question in this Q&A, and that is the SV650 a good learner bike? And my personal opinion, yes it is. I believe that the SV650 is probably the best beginner bike for anybody that is trying to get into riding motorcycles. It has the perfect power to weight ratio, it's very nimble, and these bikes can be pretty much suited to fit any size rider. So if you guys are on the market for your first motorcycle, I highly recommend an SV650. Alrighty guys, that's all I got for you today. If there's any questions in this video that I did not answer that you have, please drop them in the comment section below. Also, if you like this video or learned something, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel grow. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Smash the subscribe button. I got a lot of SV content already and a lot more coming to you. So until the next one, I'll see you then. Peace.